good. I'm going out with some friends later if you want to come. Okay. I'll see you later. If love had a sound, this would be that sound.
puppet over here to do a lot of different things, and I can use it to, you know, kind of express myself. But more importantly is this big old blank space behind me right here. If we look behind me, I can really put just about anything back here, and there's so much potential, in fact, that I'm not even sure what I want to do with it. So I'm open to suggestions, but I'm thinking right now the funnest thing to do would be to, in fact, have a sort of like actually browsing the internet kind of thing together. I think that might be kind of fun, but I don't know. Still very, very much a work in progress here. But I kind of wanted to do this stream in particular. Oh, I'm not moving right now, am I? Yeah. Am I here? Okay. I think I'm feeling better now. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that first video. I can talk about it a little bit here. That's what I'm thinking might be good for this particular stream, and then maybe in the future we can come back and do a little bit more things focused on directly, you know, just actually doing things here on the stream instead of just talking about stuff. But, particularly, I'm thinking, this is still really embarrassing. I'm not really good at this. But, yeah, I kind of want to just, oof. Gonna take some more practice here to get used to this, but I want to talk a little bit about the video that I made because it took me about a month to put together, and I'm kind of wanting to do a lot more like that. In fact, I already have one already kind of in the backlog that we could upload eventually, but yeah, I think it'd be fun to do that eventually, where I can just start doing these on a monthly basis. That's the plan, at least. Bleh. Anyway. So, oh, we have more people joining. That's cool. I was kind of not expecting that to happen yet. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. I'm just here embarrassing myself. Don't worry, you really haven't missed anything yet. But I hope you guys get the chance to watch the new video that just came out. I believe I titled it. I ended up like changing the title like 20 different times. I think I ended up going with my friend who can only speak in memes. And it's a kind of concept I've been working with for some time. I always thought it'd be kind of entertaining to play around with that idea. Somebody who can only speak via really shitty memes. Thankfully, I've had a few people talk to me about this, and no, I don't actually know a person like this. It's mostly fiction. If you look back at my older videos on my like my really, really older videos, some of the ones that I did when I first, you know, created the channel, this is the kind of thing that I wanted to make, the kind of thing that I wanted to spend a lot of time, you know, cranking out on this channel. I wanted to get fast enough to where I could potentially be making videos like these every single week. Like, there are some animators who can crank it out that fast, but even with all the practice I've been doing this time off, still quite not there yet. So, gonna take some more work to get to that point. But I've been enjoying working on them, and but I'm happy to be back so I can start doing more frequent little videos too. Fecius, I'm sorry. I know I've sold a lot of people. It wasn't my intention to, you know, like trick people with it, but I don't know. It's like I would have told the exact same story, but not from like a first-person perspective. Like I think there's just something about YouTube nowadays where people just enjoy kind of the how do I put it, like the found footage, almost like the authentic experience of, you know, real life stories. A lot of these actual like a lot of the animators who are the most popular on YouTube right now, like Domix and a lot of the others, they're all telling these personal stories of things that have happened to them. And I have a few interesting stories that I could tell, but I'd much rather just tell good stories, you know, like fiction, just straight up fiction. But my intent was not to bamboozle. I might write stuff in the future in a way that makes it seem a little bit more crazy and off the walls so people can kind of be like, yeah, this isn't real, is it? But I don't know. I think that kind of format of storytelling is just so much more comfortable. It's really weird kind of treating this like a theatrical play, you know? And that's what you look back at some of my older videos, my you know, ones way back in the day. It was very theatrical. That was the best word for it. I kind of acted as a narrator describing these events that were occurring, but it's like I saw everyone who watched these when they watched them in front of me, they were very much kind of uncomfortable with it. And I understand why, because I'm not the best actor, I'm not the best performer, but there's something about just, telling stories that I really enjoy, and it's so much easier to tell a good story in this way rather than to like act like I've been writing a, play or something. So I think I'm gonna keep telling stories in this way, but I gotta figure out a way to make it more obvious that I'm not bamboozling people, But that's something to figure out in the long run, maybe. Who knows? But I think another fun thing that might be good to do on these streams is try and create some accounts and I expected a bit of hyperbole, so all good. Just thought you were referencing a friend who went a bit too deep. Yeah, and here's the thing. These aren't completely fictitious stories. I've known people online who have done similar things, but not for like an extended period of time. It was in no way a vow of silence or anything. That's the major difference, and there was no, love interest kind of thing going on. It's all based on true stories, I guess, in the Hollywood sense, where it's like 90% false, but there is some truth to it. So, I mean, that's kind of all fiction, I feel like. All fiction kind of, when you really look at it all comes from reality. It's hard to write fiction that isn't based in something, And that's the kind of stories that I want to tell. I want to tell stories that feel true, that feel real, but aren't. I don't know. I kind of want all of the fun of drama in the real world, but not having to actually stick to any facts or anything like that, because it's a lot more fun that way. But yeah, and I do have one more video coming down the pipeline. I'm going to try and wait a couple weeks before I upload it, just because that one took me a long time to make too, and I don't really know what I'm going to do after that. I do have another script lined up. I'm kind of hoping to start doing a more long form version of storytelling where I have kind of like chapters and I upload a new video every month or something like that, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'm going to keep streaming for a little while longer, but this is still very much a work in progress. I don't really know what I want to do with all this right now. The stories and information posted here are artistic works of fiction and falsehood. Only a fool would take anything here posted as fact. Dude, it's so funny you mentioned that, because I actually want that. I originally was thinking about using that. Yeah, exactly, Mian. But that's the, so if you don't know, these stories and information posted here are artistic works of fiction and falsehood. That is the header on the top of 4chan. And not only is it just a great disclaimer, but it's also, I think, a very smart way to look at the entire internet. It's just helpful to look out there and say, okay, there's a good chance I can't believe any of this, but I don't know. It's just good to go around and fact check as much as possible and to not take anyone on their word, because no shade being thrown at the really, really popular animators telling life stories right now, but they don't really have to post any kind of evidence or facts in regards to what they've experienced and how much of it is true, It's all about embellishment in one way or another. So fiction is real, nonfiction is not. It's, I don't know. But yeah, I want to tell more fake stories, I guess, because I like fake stories. Fake stories are fun to me. And it seems like it's really hard nowadays to tell an original story without some sort of hook or grab. And honestly, I want my stories to be believable enough to where, it's kind of flattering that everyone I've shown this to, at first assumed this was real. Because I want you to think, I want to write this in a way that is feasible, that could happen, I guess they take a story they were told and then apply it to themselves. I mean, that could be a thing. I've never met any of these actual YouTube animators before, like the top dogs, the guys who are like really good, and I actually considered just copying their style for this channel, but I don't know. I like telling stories, but I mean, only so much interesting shit happens to me on a daily basis. And I kind of see that with a lot of their channels too. Like, you see them start off really strong with a lot of great videos, a lot of good content, a lot of them just talking about a lot of interesting stuff. And then you get to what they're uploading nowadays, and it's kind of clear they've starting to run out of things to talk about. and they're kind of just embellishing very, very regular events that aren't super interesting to talk about. But they're really good storytellers, so they can make it a lot more interesting than it actually is. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just skip straight to the point where I'm telling you a fake story. And I don't know. Maybe there's a better way for me to do it that doesn't seem like I'm trying to, trick people. It's something that I have spent a lot of time thinking about because it is a concern of mine. I don't want to be, bamboozling too many people. That wasn't my intention. And I don't know. I guess I should post that. Oh, you know what would be good? I should actually just post the. Oh, thank you, Featus. I really appreciate it. But I should just post the 4chan thing at the front of every video. I think that'd be a pretty entertaining way to like take people and be like, okay, this is not real, or is it? Like, I don't know. Could be fun. Could be a fun way to get around the problem of bamboozling the crisis of the bamboozle, you know? But yeah. You think in the description would be better? Fake stories are good because you're able to create something engaging and interesting, and you don't have to worry about running out of a material. Yeah, I could agree with that. It's also, I don't know, it's like everything comes from fiction in one way or another. Even if you're writing a newspaper article, yes, you're clearly needing to rely on facts and things that have actually occurred, but more likely than not, nowadays, there's a good chance you weren't even there. There's a good chance even if you were there, you didn't fully experience the entire thing yourself. So in a weird way, you're still relying on the stories that everyone else is telling you to construct a overall, like, as true as possible story of what actually happened. So in a weird way, even nonfiction is fiction. At least that's kind of how I see the world, which, I don't know, isn't necessarily a healthy way. I think it's done good for me, but I can't really speak for everyone else, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know if I want to make this public or not. My favorite feature about YouTube streaming right now is that as soon as this goes out, or I'm done with the, oh, hey Archer. Archer? Am I pronouncing that correctly? That hasn't been a problem up till now. Really though, fake stories are fine. The bamboozle thing was just in jest. Well, I appreciate it. I just worry about, I don't know, I overthink everything and fear everything, so I was just assuming that, that, because my worst case scenario is people find out that I've been lying to them all along after several videos, and, they show up at my house with pitchforks and flames, because that's a realistic fear, I'm sure. You know how it is. Archer, thanks for stopping by, dude. I'm glad I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, so, hope you guys liked that video. I'm still kind of figuring out the streaming thing, but I wanted to do a little something at the end of all the upload, because it's been literally months in the making, that video, and I wanted to spend a little time with people, just discussing it for a little bit. Hey, Void, you finally made it, dude. I've been seeing the comments you've been leaving, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry that he's been missing the stream and everything, so I thought I'd try and keep it a little longer today. It only becomes a problem when you start taking advantage of people, pulling on their emotional strings. I mean, if I were to go ahead and start, like, trying to make a video that was like, hey, here's a thing for a charity, you guys should donate to this charity because here's a story about how little children are dying or something like that. Like, yeah, obviously that's emotionally manipulative and like very immoral, but I don't know. I just don't want people to feel like they've been deceived, because I know that if I was following a thing that I thought was true for a long, long time, and you can clearly see that I'm thinking way too much about this because this is literally the first video I've uploaded in this style, but the thing that I'm worried about is that I don't want to pull along any kind of fans who find a lot of importance in these videos. People who think these videos are very powerful because they're true, and I don't want to deceive anyone in that sense. So, I know you didn't mean to, but you accidentally tapped into, like, a deep paranoia of mine, so that's why I've been talking about it for like 10 minutes now. Oh, Archer, I'm so glad you like it, dude. It's really nerve-wracking right now, but I'm gradually figuring it out, and this feels like a good way to communicate with you guys more frequently in a way that doesn't require, like, hours and hours and hours of work on my part, because animation is time consuming and this is not. This takes like no time whatsoever, and it's really nice to, you know, be able to just chill and talk to you guys in a way that isn't requiring, you know, planning and work and whatever. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I want to put this video up publicly because I already feel like there's some pretty cringy moments in here, but you know, you gotta upload stuff to get people's attention, and some of those uploads are gonna be bad, so just something I better, you know, get used to, I guess. Yeah, Archer, that's actually great. I think that's also a really good idea. In fact, I have a friend that you guys might remember from some of my other videos and a long time ago from tonight.net, my good buddy Mouse. He is actually, we're kind of working on a thing right now. If you look at my Instagram, I've already created a new Mouse 2.0. You guys can check the description of this stream. It should have the link to my Instagram down there, I think. I don't know. But it's on one of my videos somewhere. But if you look on my Instagram, you can see that I've already created a mouse, not literally, just a new character for him, so that we could actually come here and he can stream with me. And I think that'd be pretty cool. And it would also be great in case there's not a lot of people here for me to talk with. And that way, I can talk to you guys when you're here and you're communicating with me, and then I can also talk to Mouse when, you know, he's here. And that's how conversations work, I guess. Let's see. Facious is fair. Those types of fans do exist and often take it literally. They are the minority, but you do get them as you grow. Exactly. I think I'm doing this thing where I'm like trying to plan out my problems that I'm going to eventually have and not really coping or dealing with the problems I have now. It's a really dumb habit of mine. It's something that I struggle with a lot, but it's something I'm working on. I want to get big. I want this channel to get big. I want to talk about a lot of different things, and I want to talk about them with a lot of different people, and I think this is, you know, something that I care a lot about. So I tend to think that far ahead, even though there's no evidence I'm ever going to get to that point where I have fans like that, but it's something that worries me a little bit. Let's see, is the puppeteering made by face voice recognition, or you chose those poses in a very fast way? So the way the puppeteering works, I'm using a program called Adobe Character. It's very useful. I'm using it in kind of a weird way because, no offense to the guys who made the program, but I don't really like the way they've kind of set up a lot of the poses and everything. They have it set up in a way where you can kind of like manipulate still images. If you look up Adobe Character, you can see a lot of the examples of things they've done in the past, but it didn't really match the style of animating that I like to do, which is kind of choppy and, you know, sudden and spontaneous, and I can do things like, ah. So it's fun, but I'm using the program in a way that isn't really intended, which is I've just installed, I think I roughly have about 50 poses in total, and I can use these poses with button presses. And the buttons I'm pressing are actually on a controller. So it's like playing a video game, basically. It's pretty fun. I want to set up to get it to the point where I can use vocal inputs, but right now the only real like method they have of using that is you can set up mouth shapes, which I think is pretty inconsistent with how it works. Typically you have like just a few mouth shapes, but it's not great at detecting which mouth shape you're using. I kind of get it, but it ends up just kind of making the mouth look like a staticky weird mess because it's just constantly changing in shapes. You see the drama other YouTubers have, and you can easily get a hate base. The main thing is that when you get to a certain point, you have to ditch being personal and instead rely on being professional. Yeah, I feel like I've been like going at this in the opposite direction. Like I've been too formal with the channel to like the point where I was avoiding doing stuff like this because I don't know. I wanted to put my best foot forward because I sincerely believe that, you know, everything you post on here is going to stay on the internet forever. In some way, shape, or form. There's a very, I mean, like, if you're lucky, that's what happens, because it doesn't happen for everyone. But that's my goal, I guess. The end goal is that I get big enough to where people are wanting to, you know, look through my archives and see what I've done in the past and everything like that. But no guarantee. But because of that, because of that, you know, goal to achieve immortality through art or whatever, I'm very paranoid about every step I take on this channel. In fact, like, streaming as a whole has been a goal at one point just because I realized it was probably the one way I could frequently upload content and not have to, you know, dread it, because in this way, all I can do is talk to you guys. And it's like, you guys are the only ones who matter to me at the end of the day, but when it's just me making stuff, I tend to really overthink every single step I take. And that really slows the entire process down and just makes me feel like all is dread all the time. And I just want to make good stuff, and it's very easy to get sidetracked with a lot of things that nobody probably cares about. So it's something I'm working on, but in the meantime, I'm really enjoying this stream, and I'm really enjoying you guys and being able to just talk to you earnestly in this way, and it'll allow me time to, you know, focus on other projects like the video. If you guys joining the stream, I'm seeing we got more people than we did before. Welcome. If you haven't, go check out the video. I posted it down in the description down here. Only meme, the man who can only speak in memes or something like that. And you make these models in Blender? No, I actually make these models in Maya because I went to school and was trained in a program for working in a huge industry in a pipeline, and instead I didn't do any of that. I'm like a freelancer now, so I still use Maya because it's what I know best. But honestly, the Blender scene is just so cool, just such a great community. So many tutorials out there that I've considered jumping the Blender multiple times, but from what I can see besides the community, there's not a lot of reason for it, at least right now, because I just know Maya so well from what I've been taught, and I'm good with it. Good-ish, at least. But Betos, welcome, buddy. How you doing? You guys, oh yeah, I'll use this time to shout out the Discord, which is also in the description down below. A lot of cool guys in there. Void of Space and Time. I think the movie Next Gen was made in Blender. Yeah, no, Blender is like I have no issue with Blender. There's no thing that I can see with Blender that would be a downside. If anything, the upside is that the community is great, and Maya's community is like all professionals working in huge industries, so they don't tend to post a lot of tutorials unless they're not working for those industries or they're between working for those industries. So, like, Blender seems like an awesome program to use, and I have no issues with it whatsoever. And I've used it a little bit even, but it's got a lot of potential. But I'm just, you know, trying to learn enough right now that I don't think I need to pick up a whole new program. Oh my God, how do I pronounce your name? I'm gonna try just for the hell of it. Sinya Lina Kuchna Esinvi Apinoid Raketelia Jokatoim. That's a lot. I like it though. And yeah, I just saw that actually right before I started the stream. It's concerning, I guess. Sorry, I didn't read what they were saying. Any opinions on 4chan getting split into two different websites? Yeah, it's not cool, but change is never really cool. You can go back and look at my stream from yesterday to hear about that. It's gonna be a huge change, splitting the two boards up. I think it kind of makes business sense because, you know, 4chan has never been able to get like great advertising based off of, you know, like all the porn, but I don't really know if this is the best way to go about fixing that problem. I don't really agree with people who are with the paranoia about like this is the first step to nuking 4chan or something like that. And I'm also not certain about the people who are saying that this is how 4chan becomes Reddit 2.0. Like, I don't think that's an issue. I would be concerned with, I don't know, just losing traffic. I'm not excited about going to a different board. I like going on 4chan's Co a lot, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a fun thing. I'm not really excited about it in any way, but it kind of makes business sense because right now 4chan's basically a charity in the way it's run. Like, it's just an internet foundation, and some people give it money and put money and work on it because it's just like, you know, it's 4chan. You're gonna keep using 4chan, right? You don't let 4chan die. So I'm concerned about the idea of trying to make the website profitable, and yet I'm also very concerned about the fact that making the website profitable is going to also ruin the website. So, I don't know. Time will tell. I miss Moot. Medic Mark! Hey, buddy. I'm on that V Turtle Waffle. Hey, we're starting to get a lot of people in here. This is pretty cool. I'm forgetting to puppeteer because I'm just reading the chat and trying to keep up with everything. 4chan, more like Gay-chan. Good one. Good one. Chromius, hey man. Oh, it's good seeing familiar faces. See, this is why I like streaming. I don't like the, you know, constant doubting myself and being worried about, you know, destroying my reputation with a few words. But I like seeing you guys in here. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely done for advertising reasons, and I completely get that. Like, if you're going to be, like, putting time and money into a project, it makes sense that you'd want to, you know, get something back for it. I understand that, but I think, like, for me, personally, the only real way I could ever see 4chan, you know, the only way I would like to see it managed is kind of how Moot did it, but, like, instead of Moot, somebody with a lot of money to just throw at a thing and never expect anything back. So, I mean, kind of like how Google ran YouTube for a long time. I don't know if YouTube is... I don't think YouTube is still profitable. Like, I think it's still losing money for Google, but they know that in the long run, it's a good thing to have around for them financially eventually. 4chan, though, is just like... it's probably never going to be financially viable. I don't know if it, like, this is a way that would change it to make it that way. Like, God, I can't even imagine seeing 4chan with, like, actual, like, can you imagine seeing, like, Walmart ads on 4chan? That just seems so wrong in itself that I don't even know that there's a good way to fix the site without making it feel like not 4chan anymore. Features, do you feel like the internet is becoming stagnant with creativity? Do you consider certain dates that define how the culture will change? Well, I mean, stagnate's a big bad word, I don't think, because I kind of like CGP Grey. If you guys have heard of him, well, you've definitely heard of him. Well, I don't know if you have, but you should check him out if you haven't. But CGP Grey has this whole thing where he's talking about how, like, the bigger the internet gets, it's just full of people now. And I can see how people think that it's, like, growing in stagnation, but the fact is, it's just getting bigger, and people are having to organize it in different ways to kind of get rid of the clutter. And I think the biggest difference between old internet and, you know, new internet is that it's got more priority, like, for good content. And I think that what consists of good is, like, very debatable, and you have a lot of people kind of deciding, well, you know, this is good, or that's good, or, you know, that's good, but I don't know. It's really, so it seems like, you know, that's why we have all those talk shows and stuff. I mean, like, they're definitely paying for those spots, don't mind you, but that's why you see a lot of this kind of stagnation, I guess. It's not a bad word for it, because you're not wrong. You're gonna see like, if I look at my YouTube dashboard right now, it's just gonna be full of, like, you know, Let's Players and stuff, because I tend to watch those sometimes, and there's just a lot of content for Let's Players. I mean, so, and then you see people who are successful, and then they do, other people copy that person, and then, like, yeah, but the thing is, the golden nuggets of the internet never went away. They're still here. They're just a lot harder to find than they used to be, because they were just, like, you know, nobody was trying to tuck them away. They're just being buried by other things right now. And that's kind of like one of the big things I want to do with this channel is, you know, reveal the hidden nuggets of goodness within the crap. Because I think there needs to be someone who does that. But right now we kind of all rely on each other, or, you know, other people to do that for us. And, you know, if you want to see good things on the internet, you gotta be the one to, you know, put them out in front of people. Okay, wow, I fell behind. P.S. Can we call you Daddy? Hey, Hammer Koopa. The daddy question. It's inevitable, I guess. Could we do something new than Daddy? I mean, like, Daddy is such a good little word for, like, you know, like, I get the relationship between streamers and, like, the streamies, or whatever you guys are called, audience, and the daddy thing. Oh, God. So, I've enjoyed calling other people, like, daddy in streams and stuff like that, because it's just entertaining, you know? Like, it's just funny. It's a very cringy word, and it's fun to make the person feel awkward. I have not put any thought into whether or not I'm cool with being called daddy. It makes me uncomfortable. That's all I have to say right now. But I guess you guys can call me whatever you want for now. Poppy. Okay, yeah, Poppy. That's a good. I like it. I like it. I like Poppy. Poppy's good. Yeah, we'll stick with that for now. Will you remember us when you become super famous? It is obviously a matter of time once you reach a 500,000 subs out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm waiting for that moment too. I'll try and remember you guys. I mean, it was kind of nice. I feel bad. I didn't want to keep the Discord. Hello, Treadsun. I don't recognize that. I'm going to Google it and come back to it later after the stream. That might be a fun thing to start doing. You guys can just start sending me websites. I need to create a idle animation. That would be a good idea, instead of just looking like I'm just sad and staring at the screen. A digital puppet looks cool. Thanks, an idea guy. Yo, what's the Discord? The Discord should be in the description, I believe. If it's not, my bad. Medic Mark should be able to help you out with that. He is lord of that domain, as far as I can tell. He seems to be doing a good job. I think it technically says like I'm in charge of everything, but we all know that he's the mastermind, him and Betos. Marcos with a hot iron like cattle, so you can tell who we were from the beginning. I mean, so I'm thinking, I'm back now. I'm thinking that eventually when I open up a Patreon or something like that, I'd like to give out like little rewards or something like that. And I was thinking it might be kind of cool to just give, like, for a limited amount of time, you know, just put out something that everyone can kind of, you know, have, so that I know who the ones were in the beginning. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, I want to give you guys something for sticking around. Like, this first 1,000, I've said it before, the first 1,000's best 1,000. I'm going to be serious, guys, because you guys are the ones who are, like, willing to give me a try and stick around and just see me, you know, mess up, like, here and now. But yeah, you guys definitely deserve some special treatment here. Pilot Red Sun, he made the Garfield meme. That sounds familiar, Garfield. I'd have to look around. There's so many Garfield memes. Mouse is a huge fan of Garfield memes. He's just constantly like updating me on all the new ongoings of Garfield memes. Though I don't know if he's an expert. He might be upset. Oh hey, my computer mouse is here. Excuse me. There you go. Okay, thank you. Can you give ranks? Yeah, that might be fun. Hi, Betos. Of course I love you. You don't have to ask, buddy. I gave the server to Betos as I've been busy with a lot of other things, but I'm still fairly active as main admin boy. Yeah, thank you guys. You guys, I don't understand the witchcraft of Discord. I've only been in Discords. I've never run one myself, so you guys have been doing a great job. You guys should go check it out. We have like 50 million different pages for 50 million different things, and I love it all because you can kind of just bounce around like a maniac and just post wherever you want to post right now. The Discord culture is up for grabs right now. Whoever's there is going to definitely determine how things work there, because I stop by every now and then and see what's been going on, but it's fairly slow, so at least right now. But if you guys want to come in and see what's going on, it's pretty cool. Recommend it. Stuffing your face as usual, Garfield. Is that it? Okay, he's great. I like that guy then. The text to speech is always instantly comedy. I guess it's just harder to find new content. I guess we are just a bit nostalgic and forget that we didn't have aggregation back then, so the only reason we found it was sorting through the crap. Exactly. Like, I was going back through, like, okay, so I posted the video on the Newgrounds, and I will always post my videos on the Newgrounds, because I think if you really want to experience what the old internet is like, go check out Newgrounds right now, because it's just still exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same. Tom's made a lot of great improvements to the site as a whole, but the thing is, there is no algorithm. Like, there's kind of an algorithm in that it sorts out like what things you've seen and which things you haven't, but largely what gets to the front page is entirely user submitted and user reviewed. So it's probably one of my favorite places in the internet right now. I don't spend a ton of time there, but just like in terms of weird internet crap, Newgrounds is a great place for it, because there's so many talented people on there who don't get a lot of attention. In fact, like, my first videos I uploaded got no views whatsoever on YouTube. That was it. They were just like zero, just sat at zero for a long time. And if you guys have ever made YouTube videos, you might have experienced that yourselves, because it's just really disheartening to work on something for, I think my first video was 6 months? 6 months of work, and it's really embarrassing now. Feel free to go back and look at it. But it's really disheartening to work so hard on something and then see like maybe like one view on it and like no interaction with the video whatsoever. It's just so disheartening. And then you click refresh and you're like, 2 people watched the video now, and then you realize that was just you like watching the video yourself. It's really sad. But then I posted it on Newgrounds, had a huge reaction. I think I got like top video of the month or something like that, and it was like I got all my first feedback on my videos from Newgrounds, and like I owe them a huge debt. And if you guys want to start making content that's like animated or games or anything, they don't do live action video, I don't think, but super great place, very good, very good. I'm gonna go back to reading now. Blink an eye and your Discord becomes Stormfront. No. I don't want Stormfront shit. I'm sorry, like that's the one thing I can't handle or tolerate, is that I don't like poll for me is like I don't know. Okay, we're talking about whimsy and old internet. I kind of miss old 4chan before it got really political, because back in the day the only politics that were relevant on 4chan were just like whatever politics pissed off everybody. And now I don't really like the whole I got nothing wrong with, you know, conservatives, but I'm not cool with Nazis. I'll just say that outright. I'm not a fan of Nazis. Huge controversial step there in my YouTube career, but I'm gonna say no, I don't like Nazis or Stormfront or anything like that. Sorry. Have you tried using face tracking tools for your puppeting? Yeah, that's an option on the Adobe character stuff, but blink an eye and your Discord is flooding with new people. Ah, cool. I mean, hopefully they're not Nazis. I like Poll. I like the memes that come out of Poll. I consider myself a radical centrist, if anything, on the political spectrum. So Poll can be entertaining, but I also am kind of never going to forgive Poll for making me ashamed of liking Pepe, because I actually do care about people's opinions. So in that way, I'm kind of terrible, like with 4chan and everything, because I don't know. But it's a controversial topic for another video. Pepe still bothers me. It still frustrates me about what happened to Pepe, because I didn't mind the normification of him. Controversial stance, I know, but we'll see. Yeah, you're gonna get my channel taken down because I'm a Nazi hater. Understandable. I mean, I am the worst kind of monster. Sorry, to get back to your question, Void. Have you ever tried using face tracking tools for your puppeteering? I kind of mentioned it earlier, but Adobe Character has a lot of like cool little toys and tools that I'm not using whatsoever right now. I'm literally just like set up a controller to do little things when I press it. So like, yeah, I can dance a little bit. That's mostly what I can do right now. But they do have, if you look up Adobe Character and some of the stuff they do, they have face tracking like stuff where you can even like animate something entirely with your face, but I kind of don't like how it looks. I think it looks a little weird, a little wonky, and I didn't really think it matched the tone of the channel, so I probably won't be doing any kind of facial capture stuff. I've seen a lot of Twitch users doing their own thing with 3D models. Like I'm a character animator at heart, and so motion tracking stuff kind of, I don't really like the appeal of it. I don't really like the look of it. You look at like raw motion capture data, and it's usually kind of off-putting in a kind of uncanny valley sort of way. I prefer just, you know, a few poses. I think can express a lot more than a head that like floats in the air weirdly because it's kind of semi-tracked to what a person's doing. Teach your puppet how to do the default dance. Yeah, this guy is going to get a lot of little renovations and tweaks as we go along. There's a lot of potential here. This was like literally 1 day's worth of work to set this guy up. Hopefully next time I stream, we'll have a little bit more to play with. Okay, I'm going to go into my dormant state again. Hold on, I'm going to actually just put up a thing on the screen real fast. Let's see if this works. Hey, okay, now I'm gonna like actually, cause like the chat is actually doing things, and we've had 20 people and stuff like that. You said Nazi, demonetized. Yeah, there's a very good chance of that. You're joking, I think, but that actually is a real fear of mine. I think that's definitely a problem with modern YouTube. FaceRig's the best face tracker I've used, but I've never used professional tools for any of that. I think FaceRig came from a Kickstarter. Yeah, I think I've seen most of the Twitch streamers who are doing facial tracking stuff using that software, and it's pretty good. I think it's I think it's good for what it does if you're not really knowledgeable about 3D stuff. But it's not for me. I like animation, so I don't mind spending the extra like couple hours setting up something specifically for me. You should watch Alex Bale. He is underrated. I will add that to the list of things that I should check out. Thank you. Let's see. Gamergate in the 2016 election has ruined the just doing it for the lulz culture that used to exist. It seems like everything is done for ulterior motives. It's sad. Everyone is mad and righteous. The righteous is the main thing that kind of aggravates me about current 4chan. There's a sense of righteousness and indignity that feels very contrary to most of 4chan's culture. But it's something that I think it's an expected, because I think the main thing that attitude comes from is kind of a rebellion against the current culture, and like the current culture is very like the mainstream culture right now. Like you just look on TV, it's very, you know, counter. It's like the current culture is like, how do I put it? It's very undignified. It's very unrighteous, and I think 4chan becoming mad and righteous is kind of a response to that. Like, because that's what 4chan always is. It's the place you can go to be anonymous, and as a result, the people who spend the most time there are the ones who want to do the things they can't do in like mainstream culture. Teach your puppet how to do the default dance. I'm not even sure the default dance is. Got pretty popular. Oh, there was one whose only gimmick was using the Shiba Inu face rig as their avatar. Got pretty popular. Yep, that was the exact guy I was thinking of too. And then I remember correctly, he was using the webcam, and at one point they actually saw his face because he did something that, like, I think he has to use a webcam to track his face. And then one time he accidentally just showed who he was. I'm not sure if he was trying to keep it a secret or anything, but I'm trying to avoid that because I don't want my face streamed all over the internet. I still can't believe they added a cursing clause to their advert rules. I think it'd be great as a starter, and then being able to export the animation, refine it to actually look good. Maybe. I'll look into it some more. I'm kind of like allergic to motion capture, just as a guy who is trained in traditional animation. It doesn't look good, and I think most of the cases you see it looking good, like motion capture, I think there's a person who's working a lot on the motion capture data to make it look good. Hammer Cooper says, I left a year ago when it rated itself onto oblivion due to paranoia. Nowadays, they just bend over for pole, but there's still a few good guys holding on there. Yeah, I mean, 4chan is just constantly in a state of dying. If you really, like I remember when I first got on there, people were complaining about the site dying, and it's constantly getting new people coming in, and because of that, it's just a constant state of new fag invasion, so therefore the culture is just constantly shifting. Which I think is a good thing. I think the main thing that would kill 4chan is that if it stopped changing and stopped adapting. So that's the only thing that I really am not into. Scott Decker says, have you considered VR puppeting? I'm feeling bad. I think I'm caught up now, so I'm gonna bring back my guy. Let's see, technical difficulties indeed. Hello, am I here now? Yep, okay, I'm moving good. Have you considered VR puppeting? Well, okay, so I have considered it in the sense that it'd be a really good justification for getting a Vive, and that's the only reason I can think of getting a Vive right now. But it's such a cool little piece of technology that I would love to get some Vive action and figure out a way to use it in a way that works for this stuff. But I don't know. I think I'd have to learn how to do like some real game design software stuff that I don't know right now. So it'd be a pretty big undertaking, but I think it would work like if it's 1-to-1, I could probably set up something that would work okay. Like it would literally be a puppet at that point. Like it would be like a Jim Henson puppet where I can control the arms and the head and like move it around like it's an actual, you know, creature. But I think this is fine for right now. I just need to add a few more expressions. See, okay, here's the crazy thing, guys. This puppet, let's see, the fireside chat, the hot air balloon videos, and the campfire in the most recent video, those are all made using the same software. If I really wanted to, I could boot up a stream and use those puppets to stream. And there's a lot I can do with them. But the main thing is that I use those basically as a like groundwork for animation, and then I add stuff on top of it. I add different effects and everything like that. This guy's pretty bare bones right now, but don't worry, I got some tricks on my sleeve that will be coming soon. Okay, let me read some of these things over here. There's a program called Minicam that, while it doesn't have very many features in its free version, you can use it as a barrier for the basic webcam. So you can run FaceRig directly to it, and when FaceRig malfunctions, it just shut down. Oh, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's pretty good. But yeah, I'm just paranoid about cameras in general, thanks to FBI agents, etc., etc. Since we are not getting a face reveal, are we ever getting a dick reveal on 4chan? I mean, who's to say there isn't already one, you know? Go check it out right now. You never know whose dick that may be. Could be someone famous, you know? Have you heard of the leap motion? I don't think that sounds familiar to me. If I just Google it, will I find what that is? It sounds interesting. Internet campfire story stream. Yeah, I think, well, the thing is, like, that campfire, if you look at the video that I just uploaded, that campfire has, like, a lot of little effects going on in it, and it's mostly a video, looping for, like, about 30 seconds, but it would be hard to stream with that, I think, because it'd be kind of computer intensive. It really does, run pretty hot when I'm rendering it, even. So I don't think it would work very good in a live stream, but I'm hoping to take this guy and start adding a lot of little effects, maybe in the background. It would be pretty easy to just add something back there right now, because, you know, there's a lot of nothing, as you can see. Ooh, ah, he's here. He's finally here. Hi, Joycelyn. How are you doing? Have you heard about Schleep Vision? I think you guys are just messing with me at this point. I need to have a Twitch bot, wait, we're not on Twitch, excuse me, a YouTube bot that I can just, like, keep a list of things that I should Google and check out, because, you know, I am just constantly looking for new stuff to talk about on the channel. I love little internet drama and things like that, so, yeah, if you guys see something that I might be interested in, send it to me. Leave it on a comment on one of the videos. I can't really catch everything that's, you know, flying down over here. I'm not sure where the Twitch stream, sorry, I did it again, the YouTube chat is right now. Is it over here? Oh, is Betos just pushing his own YouTube? I mean, Betos, you've been cool to me, dude, so feel free to, you know, do it a little bit. I think that's fine. Unless it's Nazis, which as I've previously stated, Nazis are not okay. They're not permitted here. We're anti-Nazi. It's the one political platform I'm willing to take here. Have you heard about Candence? Is this another one that I should be looking at? Because, yeah, just leave a comment. If you guys are just memeing with me right now, leave a comment on one of the videos, because I will go back and look at all this stuff. I have a lot of free time. Not really, but you know, I have a lot of time that I like to waste on the internet. And if I have a theme that I can base my wasting the internet time around, that would be appreciated. I actually would enjoy any kind of cool things you guys can point out to me. I'm already gonna look up Alex Bale and Pilot Red Sun, so those are on my added list. Anti-free speech, truly oppressive. I mean, yeah, call me. Well, here's the thing. I'm just not a fan of. It's such a sticky situation because I totally get why certain communities get banned, but then it's like because you just don't want your entire like it's weird because they're so hated across the internet. Let's just use bronies right now or furries as a good example of this because I think that was like one of the first like communities like bored like banned from 4chan or at least like quarantined from 4chan, bronies and furries and stuff like that. Ah, Candace, dick, fit in your mouth, dab. You got me, Hammer Koopa. Damn it. I can't believe you guys actually got me with that. That's really frustrating. Okay, but yeah, no, we can use bronies as an example of this. It's like there are some communities on the internet that are so hated, some groups of people that are so hated, like furries or bronies, that when they go into a new space, and if they're not immediately heckled or shamed for being there, they see it as a welcoming place, and they see it as like, oh, this is a place we can go. But the thing is, if there are so few places they can actually go to hang out, all of a sudden they will all flock to that one space, and that one space will then become a brony or furry territory because they just overwhelm the population. And like that's another kind of fear I have about becoming famous, that like whatever 500,000, you know, video I get that might go viral or whatever, what if it ends up becoming something that Nazis are a fan of, or bronies, or furries, or whatever? Like, I can live with that, I guess, but I would prefer for it not to happen. You know, like to have my community be like recognized as one group of people. You guys seem pretty diverse to me right now, which is pretty cool. I appreciate you guys and not being, you know, too weird. I like a little bit of weird, but you guys are like a perfect amount of weird. It's pretty good right now. Don't change. Just keep it like this level. That's all we need. Speaking of furries, did you hear about the Caro the Wolf guy? Maybe? It sounds familiar. Caro the Wolf. Go ahead and tell me whatever it is he's been known for, because that name definitely sounds familiar to me, but I feel like I have like a very dark like association with it. Like whatever memories it's stirring up in me are not good. DeviantArt is actually going through a sort of professional redesign soon. I wonder if it will pack all of those fandoms. Yeah, it's definitely. I've heard the traffic's been like dwindling a lot. All those older sites, like I love Tumblr because it's an older site and it still manages to have that old internet aesthetic or kind of community because everyone using it and they haven't really adapted to the modern times and everything like that. God, I haven't been on DeviantArt in years. I have like one account on there, and I made some like little emo art for it, as you do on DeviantArt. But I haven't been there in quite a long time. Yeah, see, I'm all about free speech. My favorite parts of the internet come from the areas that allow free speech, and I think that it's one of the most important features of the internet, you know, like being able to say what you want to say in a place where you don't have to worry about like facing too much repercussions for it, because I don't know, I feel like everyone hates the internet because there's a lot of controversial opinions and weird freaky people on here, but it's not like they vanish once you get into the real world. They're still out there. They're just like, you can actually interact with them out here. You can talk to them and see what they're about and if you should actually be afraid of them or not. So yeah, I don't want to be anti-free speech, but I also like just don't want my community to evolve into like one particular dumb thing, you know, whatever it might be. Google Plus actually feels decently old internet because it's so tiny compared to other social medias. Yeah, I've actually heard that. I heard a lot of people were sad about, the people who were sad about Google Plus shutting down were people who were talking about that exactly. They said it was a good, everyone who was using it was there for a reason and they wanted to interact and meet people. So it's kind of interesting that like that's the most positive review I've ever heard of Google Plus, and yet I only heard about it once Google shut it down. So Unfortunate. Free speech does not mean that you have to agree with everyone. Absolutely, that's totally true, and I get that. But the thing is that it's like giving people a platform. It's not even so much about free speech as it is about allowing people to speak in a way. Like, for instance, I'm reading a lot of your guys' messages right now, and I'm enjoying that, and I'm enjoying you guys, but what if the chat got flooded by furries, and the only thing people were posting or wanting me to read was furry stuff? Like, I mean, I'm not that anti-furry, but I also don't want to, like, make the stream about furries. Sue me, I guess, or, you know, fill in whatever you want, unfortunate thing. Yeah, I want to keep the channel focused on certain internet kind of culture stuff, so I don't know. If we have a Nazi come in here one day and start talking about, like, debating Nazi stuff, I will shut that down, because that's not what this channel is about. But that kind of goes for, like, hell, like if a communist comes in here and starts talking about communism, or a liberal starts talking about whatever, like free abortions or something, I don't know. I think politics are unavoidable to discuss on this channel, but I don't want it to be the main thing we're all about, you know? I think there's a lot of other fun things to talk about, and you can really just do that just about anywhere on the internet. If the chat was flooded by furries, I'd kick them in the head. That'd be interesting. I'd wonder how you do that. You can just, like, stick your foot into the monitor. That'd be entertaining. I would hope you would at least film it and upload it later for us. Yefus Poppy. Oh boy, it begins, doesn't it? This is how it starts. This is how it starts. This is the end. We all want to be free speech, but it's more idealistic than reality when it comes to maintaining a healthy environment. Again, it just comes back to who has the most free speech, because, like, everyone should have a right to talk. Everyone should have a right to express what they're saying, but the real trick of it is who should be able to be heard more than everyone else. Like, that's the real issue. Because, like, yeah, Twitter can ban whoever they want, and that's not really violating their ability to talk or express themselves, but it does severely limit what they can say and how they can say it and who they can reach with what they're saying. And that's where it becomes, like, a much more gray area. Like, if somebody didn't want, or if somebody just didn't like my channel for the way I cover the internet, it wouldn't be hard for them to find a reason to just shut me down entirely, you know? So, it's a tricky situation. Google Plus is still a thing? I don't know. Last I checked, I thought it had recently shut down. That's what I heard. Might be wrong. Maybe it'd be cool if they found another way to, like, do it. Let's see. Politics can be interesting, but when it becomes the main topic constantly, it's so draining and toxic. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I feel about it, too. I think it's a very important issue. Just, you know, politics in general. I don't think it's cool to be like, yeah, I don't want to talk about politics ever, but I also get the sentiment, just because it is really draining. It's usually something that we have to deal with, but it doesn't mean we have to deal with it constantly. I back those sentiments. I think I agree with that a lot. Yeah, it's still alive. It's being shut down in segments slowly, but it's still fully operational. Alright, well maybe, I don't know, if you have some interesting links or some communities you can show me, I wouldn't mind checking it out before it died. That might be an interesting video. It's kind of sad and interesting when you see a community get shut down online. You guys should check out this one story by 99% Invisible. It's a podcast. They talked about the closing of Sims Online. Very interesting. It was like one of the first times I'd considered, like, internet communities as, like, a cultural thing. But yeah, you should check that out. It's a good thing. The closing of SimCity, it was like they treated it like it was the end of the world, basically, and it was interesting watching a community literally crumble down to the very last seconds, and it was interesting hearing them talk about it. Okay, we're talking about Google Plus now, huh? One of the problems that Google Plus had was that the circles feature allowed users to just continuously add themselves to circles and artificially inflate their own numbers. Huh, I hadn't considered that. Somebody followed me on Instagram today, and I followed them back not because I knew who they were or what they were doing, but they had 11,000 posts. 11,000. I don't even know how you do that, but they had 11,000 posts. And I just wanted to see what those posts were. Like, even if it was a bot just spamming stuff, I wanted to see what it was spamming. It seemed interesting to me. But I told Mouse about this, and he said like that was literally probably a bot trying to get attention, directing me to a link or whatever. And it totally worked because I was very fascinated. I wanted to see what the 11,000 posts were. I played on Nostorilius. I know what it was like to be crushed. Yeah, that was the other interesting thing about the video, because Sims Online was not the first online community, nor was it like a big one to go down. But you have to imagine that that kind of thing happened a lot to a lot of different people. I remember, what was it, Club Penguin went down recently, and there was a lot of similar posts about that, like the world ending and everything like that. Like somebody was talking about how the swear word filter got taken down at one point or something like that. Pretty interesting stuff. Okay, my throat is actually starting to hurt. I kind of get why streamers kind of struggle to do this, where they have to do a lot of preparation getting ready for this, but this has been really good, guys. I think this has been a much more successful stream than the one yesterday. Thank you for participating. Turns out when you have, you give it like more than 5 minutes, people actually come in and spend some time and we'll talk and everything like that. So sorry for shutting it down so quickly yesterday, but I was, you know, a little nervous if you couldn't tell. So, and I think it was at the beginning of this one too. But I think we've come to a nice place. We're not talking about anything I thought we were going to talk about, but you know, turned out all right. I might actually make this, you know, a public video available for viewing. That would be pretty cool. Let me see if there's any last little messages I can talk to you guys about. Drink tea with honey for a sore throat. That just sounds delicious, so I might do that anyways, even if it's not a real thing. That could be a good topic, focusing on the deaths of communities. Yeah, I've wanted to cover that for, like, the thing is, there are just so many dead communities out there. There's a lot of different ways to cover it and stuff like that. Remember to like the stream. Ooh, yes, absolutely. Some interesting still live online games communities are Worlds Online. I'll check that out. I haven't heard of that. Worlds.com has been live since the mid to late 90s. Damn. Damn. That's really old. There's a lot that can happen since then. That's... Whew. Good stream, Poppy. Thank you, Hammer Kappa. Good stream, dudes. Everyone, yeah, give yourselves a round of applause, because this was fun. I had a lot of fun doing this time, so keep it up. Okay, yeah, we can keep doing this forever, honestly. I'm having a really good time, but I think I'm going to call it. Have a good evening, Internet. Bye, guys.